This is a WYMT Severe Weather Alert Day. Coming up on Mountain News at 6.
I'm Erica Glover in Breathitt County, where the National Weather Service is keeping their eye out for possible flash flooding. I'll have more coming up.
I'm Angela Spartman at Bell County, where the Middlesboro police chief says a city employee stole taxpayer dollars.
A memorial for those killed in the Vietnam War makes a stop in Pikeville just in time for Independence Day. I'm Whitney Burks with the details coming up.
You're watching Eastern and Southern Kentucky's #1 source for news. WYMT Mountain News at 6 starts now.
Rounds of rain continue to roll across eastern Kentucky. Good evening, I'm Tanner Hesterberg. First at 6, the heavy rain could lead to flash flooding and has prompted us to declare a severe weather alert day. Brandon Robinson has been monitoring the storms all afternoon in the Sky Alert Weather Center and has the latest.
Tanner, calm right now, but as we go through the nighttime hours, we're going to see more rain start to roll in from the south and the southeast. So we're just kind of getting started with this, but it is raining, especially back out toward Interstate 75. Let's go to live pinpoint Doppler radar, taking on a bit of a radar tour here pretty quickly. You go down toward Interstate 75 and beyond, that's where the bulk of the rain is. We're seeing some pop-up showers and storms just off to the east as well, especially back into parts of West Virginia. Let's go down south first. Actually, we're going east first, then we'll go down south. Back up toward Martin County, back up toward Lawrence County and over into Logan and Wayne and Mingo counties, and that way into West Virginia, you're seeing some pretty good little showers and storms. Nothing severe, but just kind of giving you an idea where the rain is now. Jackson County up toward Madison County, back down toward Laurel County. There's some more rain. Western Pulaski County, more rain there. So again, it's coming down. What's down to the south, back past Atlanta, that's what we're watching, because all that is pulling directly to the north. We're wedged in between two systems that have stalled out, a high pressure to our east and a low pressure to our west. And because of that, the flash flood risk is real and it's on the table. Flash flood watch continues for the entire area until tomorrow night at least, and it might be extended past that point. At this point, more rain possibilities tomorrow, and we're going to continue to track that. A couple of inches possible in some spots. It really all depends on where those bands set up. Temperatures much cooler right now. They're going to get cooler through the night, but again, our main threat that we are continuing to track here, and the reason for the severe weather alert day, is the fact that we do have flooding concerns, especially overnight tonight and tomorrow. We will keep you posted and have more in the full forecast, including our in-house model showing you how much rain we could see in just a few minutes.
All right, Brandon, thank you. Forecasters say flooding is the #1 killer during severe weather events. And as WYMT's Erica Glover reports, knowing the difference between a flood watch and warning could save your life.
Flooding all evening long.
Just 3 weeks ago, those living in the Big Creek community of Perry County experienced this. Flooding, one forecaster for the National Weather Service says, is uncommon this time of year.
The pattern that we're in right now is a little bit unusual because we're dealing with an upper level low, which is more typical for spring or fall. You don't usually see them as often in the summer.
And the rain just keeps on coming.
This is kind of our prime season for flash flooding, so it's not unusual to see a threat this time of the year.
General forecaster Pete Jajarian says during a flash flood, it only takes 2 feet of water to get swept away.
A lot of people think that, well, I have a big SUV or a big truck, that I can cross this stream, and they find out that it can float just as easily as a smaller vehicle.
Officials with the National Weather Service say in less than a 6-hour period, conditions could be favorable for possible flash flooding, especially when soil like this cannot absorb the rain. When listening to your weather radio, WYMT meteorologist Shane Smith says always use good judgment and have a plan.
When the warning happens, that's when you need to implement that plan of action and be ready to take action, to seek higher ground, to get out of those flood-prone areas.
Forecasters say everyone, particularly those in low-lying areas, should take precautions to ensure their safety. Erica Glover, WYMT Mountain News.
And Jajarian says here in eastern Kentucky, the prime season for flash flooding is April through August. You can stay ahead of tonight's storms on your desktop or on the go. On WYMT.com, you can take control of the Pinpoint Doppler radar and see what's going on where you live. You can also download the WYMT Sky Alert radar app to your smartphone or iPad.
And now, Sky Alert weather featuring Pinpoint Doppler, eastern and southern Kentucky's most dependable forecast. Sponsored by Community Trust Bank. Building communities built on trust.
Well, certainly not the 4th of July we were hoping for weather-wise. Brandon, what's the latest?
It's not looking pretty good for a lot of folks, especially back up to the west. It's still not across most of eastern Kentucky yet, but we do have one flood advisory to tell you about for our neighbors in Wise County and the city of Norton in Virginia. That goes to 11:15 tonight. But again, still spread out for now. I guarantee you, though, you'll be seeing rain a little bit later on this evening. All right, live pinpoint Doppler radar. We're scanning the skies here on this severe weather alert day. We're seeing the rain back off toward Interstate 75. Pretty good little storm rolling through parts of Jackson and Laurel counties right now, but the bulk of the rain is still back out toward the west. You look off to the east, there's not a whole lot going on just yet, but once you see the wider picture here in just a second, you'll understand why the flooding threat is still on the table. Here's a couple of storms back off into parts of West Virginia. Now, there was a lightning strike in West Virginia just past Charleston a little earlier that caused an explosion, hit a gas line, so a lot of storms up that way, not so much down this way. Some showers down through parts of Pike County this evening. We go back out west, you see McKee getting some pretty heavy rain right now, back off to the north and to the east of London there, going back into Clay County a little bit close to the Howell Rogers Parkway there between Manchester and London. But the big picture is what I want to show you. Look at all of this rain just lined up basically all the way to the Gulf and into the Gulf. Low pressure out this way and high pressure off the east coast were lodged right in between them, and they're not moving very much. They're basically stalled out. So because of that, we're going to continue to feed that moisture in through there, and because of that, flash flood watch continues through Friday night. At this point, that may even continue. That's the counties in the dark green, all of eastern and southern Kentucky. The lighter green into parts of East Tennessee and southwest Virginia, that's a flood watch. So again, continues. Rain cooled air, especially out to the west, 60s and 70s for temperatures as we go through the evening hours. Look at the rain. Just continuously cranking straight out of the south. So all that rain that you've been seeing on the big picture, look at all this, just continuing to push. Now, it looks like it's trying to fizzle out a little bit, but a lot of redevelopment is going to happen later on as more moisture just continues to pool as we go through. Here's our in-house model showing you the possibilities for rainfall through 7 o'clock tomorrow night, so basically the next 24 hours. It's going back and forth. It's wobbling this morning. We were in the 3 to 4 inch range. Now still an inch or two in some spots possible. The Mesonet side out in McCreary County already reporting more than 1.5 inches of rain since midnight last night. Flooding concerns on the table for us through Friday night at least, maybe even more than that at this point. But the big threats, heavy rain, getting in some of those small creeks and streams that could cause them to quickly rise. So if you live in those areas, keep an eye on your creeks and streams. And again, just be careful of that and keep it locked right here for updates. 66 overnight, heavy rain possible with more shower and storm chances that continue to roll through. 3-day forecast on into the 7-day forecast where your weekend is always in view. We're going to continue to see that through the weekend and basically into the first of next week. But I think as we get into the first of next week, we will become more scattered in the chances for that. And again, tonight, we will be on the air if we need to, but at this point with no flooding concerns, we've not done any cut-ins just yet outside of the news, so we will keep you updated if we need to. We'll be here all night long.
All right, Brandon, thank you.
All right, we're back on the air. We've got a tornado warning in Clay County, and this is confirmed on the ground. Let's go right to live pinpoint Doppler radar, show you what's going on. Basically, we're zoomed in here, just got the report. This storm really intensified in the last couple of minutes. This is for northwestern Clay County and southeastern Jackson County until 6:45. We just got the report in here of a tornado on the ground. Let's see where it's at this point. Let's see. It is near, let's see.
Stand by for important weather information.
The National Weather Service in Jackson, Kentucky has issued a tornado warning for northwestern Clay County and southeast Kentucky, southeastern Jackson County and southeast Kentucky until 6:45 p.m. At 6:19 p.m., there was a public report of a tornado near the Howell Rogers Parkway about 6 miles west of Manchester, relayed by the Kentucky State Police. It is moving north near 30 miles per hour. Hazard, damaging tornado. Source, public confirmed tornado. Impact, mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles will occur. Flying debris will be deadly to people and animals. Tree damage is likely. Locations impacted include Roy Rader, Datha, Burning Springs, High Knob, Sacker Gap, Malcolm, Shepherdtown, Welchburg, Egypt, Chestnutburg, Tyner, Sexton's Creek, Zix Point, Sourwood, Malden, and Hurd. To repeat, a tornado is on the ground. Take cover now. move to an interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. Avoid windows. If in a mobile home, a vehicle, or outdoors, move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris. Repeating, a tornado warning has been issued until 6:45 p.m. for the following counties in Kentucky: Clay and Jackson.
So it's moving pretty good clip north at near 30 miles an hour. And this storm, it literally just developed into a severe threat thunderstorm just a second ago. We didn't even have a severe thunderstorm warning on this just a little bit ago. But let me see if I can get some more information in here via social media or via the National Weather Service chat. I haven't had the chance to look here the last little bit. It's been coming literally out of nowhere in the last couple minutes. Was not really expecting this one because it did not look that strong on radar just a few minutes ago. Again, just reiterating here, trying to get some more information in. There is a tornado on the ground right there in the northwestern part of Clay County and going toward the southeastern part of Jackson County. No word on strength, no word on size, but reports coming in, official reports via the National Weather Service from Kentucky State Police. It appears, at least at this point, based on what I'm seeing on radar, it's probably a small one, but I do not want to speculate that. Again, you folks right there, you see all the communities. I'm going to go in even closer to kind of give you a look at this as we go here through the 6 o'clock hour. Zeke's Point, Vine, Egypt, those are all the areas because this is moving north right now. So you folks in Jackson County, if you're back, let's see, 421, let's put some roads here. There's Whit Fork Road, there's James Baldridge Road, Kelson Street. So you folks right there, there's 421, there's the community of Malden, over back toward, there's Lost Creek Road. All you folks right there, you need to be in your tornado safe spot right now. You need to be getting into a shelter, getting into an interior hallway or into a basement. Let me get those tips here pulled up real quick on the other computer. If we can switch to that real quick, please, to the other computer where we can show you those tips. Go to a basement, lowest point in your home, interior hallway or room, stay away from windows, and make arrangements if you're in those mobile homes. Let's go back to radar here. Reports still coming in. Okay, let's see here. Trying to get some updated information. Not much coming in right now. We've got our newsroom working on that. If anybody in the newsroom gets any information, please relay that to me so I can relay that out. But this report coming in from Kentucky State Police relayed to the National Weather Service in Jackson at 6:19, a public report of a tornado near the Hal Rogers Parkway, about 6 miles west of Manchester, and moving north at about 30 miles an hour. And I've got some of the areas highlighted there that will be seeing the possibility of seeing this tornado in the next little bit. That tornado warning goes until 6:45 here this evening. So about another 15 minutes or so, a little less than 15 minutes. But again, if you are hearing the sound of my voice and if you're in southeastern Jackson County, you need to be getting into a safe spot right now. If you're in northwestern Clay County, you need to be in that safe spot right now, trying to figure out exactly where all this is coming in. What we got here, nothing new there. I thought it was a new update, but you see all the roads plotted out here. Whit Fork Road, Lost Creek Road, there it is. You just saw the new update coming through, so going through those areas. So I'm going to shift a little further to the north here and kind of give you an idea of what we're going to continue to see there for the next little bit up to the northern counties or another northern parts of this warning here. But again, just a very, very dangerous situation now. Literally kind of developed and expanded and went severe on us very, very quickly. Was not expecting that. It would just look like a regular thunderstorm for a minute. But again, this is why it's so important to be weather aware on days like this. We're keeping an eye. There's Mummy, there's Highway 30. This is all north right now of this cell. I'll take you in just a little closer here to kind of give you an idea of what's going on back up toward the north. We're getting into some more rural areas, it looks like, so that's some good news. But again, does not negate the threat at all. I'll take you back out here, give you the big shot of all of it. I'm going to put the track right there on. There's your tornado warning information going until 6:45 for parts of Jackson County and northwestern Clay County. It looks like the storm is pretty much trying to exit Clay County, but going still into parts of Jackson County right now. This coming in, let's see, literally we do not know how big this is. We do not know, we've got the public report through the National Weather Service, but again, it's just that the tornado is on the ground right there into parts of northwestern Clay County and southeastern Jackson County this evening. So again, again, it's east of the city of Annville. It's southeast of the city of McKee, moving straight north. So eventually, this might end up clipping the western sections of Owsley County there. So you folks need to be kind of getting into your safe spots right now too. No tornado warning for Owsley County, but again, this system is moving straight north. This cell is moving straight north at a clip of 30 miles an hour. So a fast mover here this evening. We're going to continue to watch this here, again, going for about another 11 minutes here till 6:45, but literally went from just a regular old garden variety thunderstorm to a tornado warning, so it intensified very, very quickly across the area. We're going to continue to track this live for you as long as this tornado warning goes. And again, it does not look like it's losing a lot of strength at this point. Continue to track off to the north. Right there you see the main road is getting ready to cross. There's Highway 30 back up there toward the central part, central southeastern Jackson County. 421, it's to the east of that, back off to the north to the east. But again, moving straight north. So let's take you back down a little closer and kind of show you some of these communities. There's Zeke's Point, there's Privet. And again, we're getting into a little bit more sparsely populated area now, at least with the towns that we can show you on the map. But again, that does not mean that this system is not going to go into some areas where people are living. So keep that in mind. Traveling to the north at about 30 miles an hour. This report coming in 6:19. So it's been about, less than 20 minutes when this report first came in. So literally rapidly intensified storm. You've got right there basically those folks that you see on your screen right now under the gun. Tornado tips, you need to be in your basement. If you're in these areas, if you're just north of these areas, like I said, back up into western Owsley County, parts of southeastern Jackson County, trying to move out of Clay County a little bit, but you're still under the gun at this point until we get that a little further away, that storm right there on the border. And again, we have a confirmed report of a tornado on the ground just west of Manchester, but that was it was west of Manchester at 6:19. So I would say it's moved into Jackson County if it's still on the ground. I do not have any information to see if it's still on the ground or not, but moving north at 30 miles an hour. So again, a very, very rapidly developing situation here. If anyone in the newsroom has some new information, they may have talked to some police or anything, please relay that along to me. But at this point, I haven't gotten any much new information. But again, several communities right in the path of this storm. Zeke's Point, you are in the path of this. If you're not in your safe spot right now, you need to be. Anybody that's right along Highway 30 right there in Jackson County, you need to be in your safe spot, especially if you're in the eastern half of the county or the southeastern half. You folks in western Owsley County, this storm is going to continue to push north as it tracks through. So again, just a situation where you definitely want to be getting to your safe spot right now while you've got a little bit of time. It's moving very fast off to the north at about 30 miles an hour. So again, everybody north right here of Highway 30 in Jackson County, right there between Privet and looks like over into parts of Owsley County, you need to be getting into that safe spot right now. There's the Sturgeon and the Vincent communities. It looks like most of this cell will try to track to the west of those two communities I just mentioned, but again, back up here toward Wind Cave, that's in Jackson County. You go right there where looks like Jackson and Owsley and Lee counties meet. There's an area where this storm, if it continues its track to the north, may continue to track into at this point. No new information coming in from the National Weather Service right now, but again, this system, this cell really developed out of nowhere and it's literally went from nothing to a tornado warning in seconds. So I got that public report, which I'm sure helped, but this is a very, very powerful storm. Got an update coming in right now. Okay, let's see here. Continuing the tornado warning. It's coming in here, let's see, until 6:45 near the Malcolm community. Now it's shifted a little bit. It's now moving to the northeast at 25. So again, we're seeing this by radar now. The original report came as a public spotted it on the ground and was relayed to the National Weather Service from Kentucky State Police. Now they're saying it's radar indicated over at the National Weather Service, but that remains in effect for parts of Clay County, north central Clay County, and southeastern Jackson County until 6:45 here, just another about 7 minutes or so. So we're going to stay on the air with you right here and keep you posted on this storm. It's starting to look like lose a little bit of its lose a little strength here as the radar updates, but again, not letting our guard down just yet. If you're to the north of this, we talked about some of those communities. It's approaching Highway 30 now. They're in the eastern part of Jackson County. So if you're in that area, if you're in western Owsley County, since it's making that shift to the northeast just a little bit, especially those folks now over in the Vincent and the Sturgeon communities. You need to be getting into your safe spot right now. Let's show those severe weather tips one more time. Go to a basement or lowest point in your home, interior hallway or room. Stay away from the windows, and if you're in the mobile homes, you need to get to a sturdier shelter right now, especially if you're right there on that border where Lee and Jackson and Owsley counties all come together. Let me make it clear, north central Clay County and southeastern Jackson County are the only ones under the tornado warning at this point. But at this point, we did have confirmed as of 6:19 earlier, this cell has produced a tornado based on reporting we've gotten from a person in the public who reported it to the state police, who passed it on to the National Weather Service. So again, that was just off of the Howard Rogers Parkway, just west of Manchester. So that puts it between, when it touched down, it was right there between, looks like, Manchester and London. And now this system pulling off to the northeast at a pretty good clip at 25 miles per hour. So do not know anything about size, don't know anything about damage at this point. So again, we continue to track this system as we go through here over the next few minutes. Again, that warning in effect for about 5 more minutes, and not heard any word if they're going to extend that just yet. As soon as we know that, we will let you know. But again, you folks in Jackson County, right there along Highway 30, going back over into Owsley County. This is west of Boonville, right around the Vincent community. You see that there? All this is pushing to the northeast, so it basically would be moving kind of like this. The next few minutes, let me get you an arrow here to kind of show you. Moving in this general direction. So you folks right there in the western parts of Owsley County need to be getting your safe spots. You folks in southeastern Jackson County need to be in your safe spot and staying in your safe spot. And we'll see if this storm holds together by the time it gets to parts of Lee County there, the western half of Lee County. But again, a serious situation developing, literally rapidly intensified, and dropped a tornado on us based on the reports that the National Weather Service was getting quickly. I mean, like we showed you this exact cell during main weather at 6 o'clock, and it was just looking like a pretty good garden variety thunderstorm, but it picked up a lot of intensity quickly and rapidly formed into a tornadic thunderstorm. So again, we're just going to continue to track this here for the next little bit. You see the communities. I'm going to take you back in a little closer here, especially on that line. There's Sturgeon, there's Vincent, anybody along Highway 30 over into the western parts of Owsley County, getting to a little bit more of a sparsely populated area of Jackson County. But right there you see Hurd, you see Privet, all those areas back down towards Zeke's Point. And let me see if I can get just a little closer here, get you some more of these communities. Let me try this way and see if it'll pull up some communities that way. There's Fish Trap Road, there's Sturgeon, Water Creek Road, there's Woods Road, and there's another road I saw just there, Kelson Street, back up that way, and then all those areas, those are right there. You're probably seeing the thick of this storm right now as we speak. So again, we're going to continue to track this here for the next few minutes. At this point, unless it's extended, will expire here in the next 3 minutes. This is a tornado warning for the north central parts of Clay County and into the southeastern parts of Jackson County. So again, this storm has a history of producing a tornado based on reports from the public that were relayed to state police, which again were relayed on to the National Weather Service just west of Manchester when we got the first report about 20 minutes ago. This now just coming into us here in the Sky Alert Weather Center. Let's get some more information if we can. Nothing new from the Weather Service at this point, but this right now they're calling it a radar indicated storm just to the, let's see here, near the Malcolm community and moving northeast at 25 miles an hour. It's approaching, should be right on top of the Highway 30 area right now, and then again moving toward the Owsley County line, back up toward the far southeastern parts and eastern parts of Jackson County, moving northeast. There it goes. It's going in now into parts of Owsley County at this point. There's the Sturgeon community. Let me get you a little closer here in Owsley County. No tornado warning for Owsley County. Let me make that clear at this point. Not heard anything new on that just yet. I guess the folks the Weather Service trying to figure out if they want to put a severe thunderstorm warning on this or if they want to issue a new tornado warning, but we have not got the information on that just yet. The only tornado warning we have, the active one, is for parts of Clay County and Jackson County for about another 2 minutes, about a minute and a half actually. So we'll see if that's allowed to be expanded or if they're going to allow that to expire here in the next little bit. But again, back off into parts of right there on the border, Owsley and the Jackson County line. That's where the bulk of this storm is now. Put some road names on here for you so you can get a little bit better idea. There's Bills Creek Road. There's 1503, State Highway 1503. There's Pearson Fork Road. There's more Bills Creek Road there. So again, those are some of the areas that's going to be seeing this, at least seeing the outer edge right now. I'm taking you just a little farther north to kind of give you some ideas of some more people that will be seeing that here next minute. There's 30, and then we go back down this way just a little bit. There's 1503, and then up toward Vincent, you see that there's Freestone Drive. There's a Missouri branch. There's a couple of different areas that we're going to continue to watch. So let me zoom back out and kind of give you the wider view. This cell literally came out of nowhere with the tornadic intensity, and it really just kind of fired up out of nowhere because we were watching this, like we said, during the 6 o'clock news, and it just looked pretty garden variety. But again, they got the report just before 6:20 of the tornado on the ground there on the Hal Rogers Parkway between Manchester and London there. So got the report on and got on the air as soon as we could with the information. But that's the area right there under the gun, right there on the literally on the county line between Owsley and Jackson County at this point. Clay County, the northern parts of Clay County still included, but I believe it's for the most part to the north of you guys, pretty much over into at least the I think the tornado producing part of this thunderstorm over into Jackson County, but the warning still out. That does not mean to let your guard down in Clay County. The cell, for the most part, has moved into Jackson County more so. Okay, all right, new information just coming in that the tornado warning will be allowed to expire. It just expired here at 6:15, about 15 seconds ago. So we're going to continue to track this storm. We will get back on the air if needed, but for now, let's go ahead and join the CBS Evening News in progress.
This is a WYMT severe weather alert. This is a WYMT severe weather alert.
Hey folks, Brandon Robinson here in the WYMT Sky Alert Weather Center with Shane Smith. We're tracking some storms tonight. Want to kind of keep you updated on because of the fact that we had the cell earlier that did spawn the tornado warning. Still trying to get some reports in on that. But let's go right to live pinpoint Doppler radar. Severe thunderstorm warning now in effect until 9 o'clock for Bell, Clay, Jackson, Knox, Laurel, Pulaski, and Whitley counties. Again, we're just watching this one, kind of keeping you updated because of the history that this could have some pretty stout winds in it at this point. So we're going to continue to watch that. No rotation right now, but it's along a very highly traveled corridor right there along I-75, and a lot of rain coming down with this system as well. We've already got reports from the Kentucky Mesonet side out of McCreary County that they've gotten almost 2.5 inches of rain. So this kind of ties in with the reason we are in a severe weather alert day, because of the flooding threat and now because of the aspect of severe weather. Shane, what have you gotten so far on the returns?
So far, Brandon, what we're seeing with this storm is just a lot of potential for straight line winds. We are seeing Doppler estimated winds pushing close to around 60 miles per hour, which is right around the threshold for a severe thunderstorm. Severe thunderstorm has to have 58 mile per hour winds or 1 inch diameter hail. We just put a storm track on this line of thunderstorms. It's working its way off to the northeast at about 30 miles per hour. There are a lot of people in the path of this storm, 53,000 likely to be impacted within the next hour. Some of the locations in the path of the storm, Arkell, Ferriston, Lilly, Cane Creek, Barberville, Deer Lick, Hammond, Grace, even eventually working its way up towards Manchester here within about the next hour or so. And that's where we had that tornado warning just an hour or so ago. So definitely an active day here in the Sky Alert Weather Center. This storm not showing any rotation, but it is definitely showing the potential for some strong, gusty, straight line winds. We were talking anywhere in excess of around 60, maybe even 65 miles per hour. The main area of concern with this storm is this area where you're seeing the darker red and where it's almost bowing out a little bit. That is where we've got the potential for the strongest of those straight line winds. It's right about through there. That's what we are looking at right now, Brandon.
And at this point, again, we had the early tornado warning earlier tonight. This is not a tornado warning. This is a severe thunderstorm warning. But again, just kind of putting the word out. It's the 4th of July. A lot of folks are out maybe getting ready for some festivities. So that way, I'm sure they probably already canceled the fireworks displays. We're still trying to get this rain passed for those folks. But a lot of folks out and about today. So that's why we're kind of going on to talk about this. And Shane, if you can, take us up to the north. There's another cell we've been watching. This is part of that first cell that came through earlier. This is the cell that spawned the tornado warning down toward Clay County and into Owsley County, or excuse me, not in Owsley County, into Jackson County earlier. This is up toward Campton. This is the same cell. No warning on it. We've been tracking this for the last little bit, and it does have indications of still having some rotation on that. So we're continuing to track that for you. And at this point, it looks like it's going to track into parts of Morgan County in the next little bit and back up toward Moorhead eventually too. So again, those folks need to be watching that over the next little bit as well.
Yeah, Brandon, one thing we're seeing with this thunderstorm is even though there's no severe thunderstorm warning with it, we are still seeing broad rotation with this storm. And it still could be producing 40, 45 mile per hour wind gust in the eastern part of Menifee County, eventually going to work its way over into Morgan and Rowan counties. So folks, western Morgan County, southern Rowan County, eastern Menifee County also need to be on the lookout, as this storm, while not severe, could definitely cause some problems, especially if anybody's outdoors waiting on those 4th of July festivities to kick off. You definitely want to go on in and seek shelter because, you know, strong winds and lightning associated with this storm.
Take me back down south. I want to point out something else too with this severe thunderstorm warning that we have down in the southern counties. This is an area that's seen a lot of rain today. So you've got saturated ground. So you also have not only the threat of possible localized flooding, especially down that way, but the ground is saturated. So the trees could be a little looser than normal. So you get a pretty good gust of wind. It could knock a couple of trees down, power outages. And we've heard a lot of reports here lately of trees falling on cars with people driving. So again, a situation where you definitely want to be kind of paying attention. If you're outside, find shelter for a little bit, get into a safe place. Even though, again, this is not a tornado warning, it's one of those situations where those winds could be stout. Radar indicating up to 60 mile an hour winds, and especially right there, it's a very, very populated area along I-75 back toward Corbin and Barberville, London, up toward Manchester. And again, we're still waiting to hear if there are any reports of damage out of Clay County. So far, we've heard none from earlier, so that is a good sign. If we have those, we will pass those along to you a little bit later on. But again, tracking showers and storms across the region. We're having under a severe weather alert day because of the fact of possible flooding. But again, we're going to get you back into programming now, but just want to kind of keep you ahead of the storm, so to speak, and we will update you again as needed if we need to throughout the evening.
This is a WYMT Severe Weather Alert Day. This is a WYMT Severe Weather Alert.
Good evening to you on the 4th of July. Brandon Robinson here with a quick update inside the WYMT Sky Alert Weather Center. Won't keep you from programming too long, but a couple of things I want to share with you. Let's go to live pinpoint Doppler radar. Couple of different things in effect, different watches and advisories and warnings. We have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect right now for Breathitt and Owsley and Lee counties until 9:30, so another couple minutes. Possibility for up to 60 mile an hour winds with this cell. So again, we're kind of watching them and get you in here a little closer and show you the one we're talking about. This is the one right here, through parts of Lee and Owsley counties. Now, this is the same area that saw that warning a little earlier that just expired right before it got to those counties. But again, some of the same counties getting hit over and over again with the heavy rain. Some pretty good wind up to 60 mile an hour, as we mentioned. Could be a little bit of hail embedded with that too. So keep that in mind. That's going to 9:30. Also, back out to the wider view here real quick. I also have our first flood advisories of the night, and that's in effect for Bell, Clay, Jackson, Knox, Laurel, McCreary, Owsley, Pulaski, Rockcastle, and Whitley counties until 11:30. So again, some heavy rain been coming down in some areas. More 2.5 inches of rain has fallen in McCreary County, according to the Kentucky Mesonet, in the last since 12 o'clock last night. So basically, in almost the last 24 hours. So a lot of rain. We've still got more rain behind this long-term event. That's why we have declared a WYMT Severe Weather Alert Day. So just kind of keeping you updated. But again, that severe thunderstorm warning for western Breathitt County and Lee County and Owsley County again goes through 9:30. Could be some strong winds with that, so just taking precautions. We'll get you back into programming and update you as needed.
This is a WYMT Severe Weather Alert Day. Coming up on Mountain News Night Watch.
A group in Laurel County tries to reach a world record with honey buns. Rebecca Pewitt has the story on the sweet attempt.
I'm Danielle Nottingham at the White House. Coming up, Egypt swears in a new interim president as the country looks to the future.
And I'm Brandon Robinson. We're still tracking the potential for flooding across the area over the next couple of days. Flash flood watch continues through Friday evening. I'll have the details. Mountain News Night Watch is on the air.
You're watching Eastern and Southern Kentucky's #1 source for news. WYMT Mountain News Night Watch starts now.
Good evening, I'm Tanner Hesterberg. First on Night Watch, severe weather continues in eastern Kentucky. We received reports of a tornado in Clay County around 6:30 this evening. So far, no damage has been reported. Brandon Robinson joins us now for a first look at our forecast and the possibility of more severe weather heading our way. Brandon.
Tanner, I think at this point, a spotter who called in the original report to the Weather Service may have been mistaken. Maybe that was a funnel cloud because the crews have not been able to find any damage from that suspected tornado over in Clay County. But what we are dealing with now, the severe threat going down from the storm aspect, but the flooding is now becoming a possibility. Let's go to line pinpoint Doppler radar. A lot of rain falling across a big chunk of real estate. More than 2.5 inches now fallen in parts of rain has fallen now in McCreary County, according to the Kentucky Mesonet, up toward Rowan County, toward Moorhead, more than 1.5 inches. So some reports started to come in. Let's take you on a tour real quick of the area with the rain chances. We had our last severe thunderstorm warning, which was for Morgan and Rowan counties, expire at 10:45. So that's starting to die down a little bit on that end. Back down south, we're continuing to watch the possibility for showers and storms continuing to fire back off toward parts of Clay County. But again, starting to die down with that aspect. It's just the rain, and there's a lot more moisture still floating in from the south off the Gulf from that big flow of stalled out mess across the area that's going to continue to pull this way for the next couple of days. Flash flood watch continues through Friday at midnight, and that's for all of eastern and southern Kentucky. We'll have more on your forecast coming up here in just a few minutes.
All right, Brandon, thank you.
And now, Sky Alert weather featuring Pinpoint Doppler, eastern and southern Kentucky's most dependable forecast. Sponsored by Community Trust Bank, building communities built on trust.
As we continue on this severe weather alert day, Brandon, a lot of those nasty storms have started to move out, but now there are concerns for flooding.
Right, and we've decided to extend the severe weather alert day to at least noon tomorrow for the flooding concerns, so we'll be keeping you posted throughout the night and throughout the morning tomorrow. Had a scare earlier. We thought there was a tornado over in Clay County during the 6 o'clock news. I'll tell you, I was shocked when I saw the warning go out, but some confusion, I think, with maybe a spotting report on that one, but still some pretty stout storms still moving through parts of the area, but they have died down a little bit since about 10:45 or so.
You'd rather err on the side of caution in that situation anyway.
Exactly. Let's talk about the forecast right now. Live pinpoint Doppler radar scanning the skies tonight. The rain still coming down at a pretty good clip across a big chunk of the area. And again, that's one of the reasons we decided to extend the severe weather alert day because of that, because this is just the latest in a big wave of rain that's going to just continue to come off and on throughout the nighttime hours. Take you on a radar tour. Basically, here was the last of the severe thunderstorms back up toward Moorhead and West Liberty. Still pretty good rain falling and some thunder and lightning possible in those systems. Big tour down to the south. Now we're going to continue to see showers and storms back off toward Manchester and back toward Jackson and Campton. But for the most part, everything is below the severe threshold. Well, it is below the severe threshold. It's just the flooding aspect we're possibly concerned now. So far, reports McCreary County, according to the Kentucky Mesonet, more than 2.5 inches of rain. Jackson County and Rowan County, more than 1.5 inches of rain. So it's been a pretty good rainmaker today, and more rain down south. Doesn't look that impressive right now, but it comes in waves and will continue to do so over the next day or so into the weekend. Flash flood watch through Friday evening for all of the area across eastern and southern Kentucky. Flood watch in effect for some of our neighbors in southwest Virginia and down into East Tennessee. Temperatures much cooler after the rain tonight, 60s and 70s, especially across parts of southern and southeastern Kentucky where the rain has just continued to fall. All this is pushing to the north at a good clip. It just continues to cycle and churn over and over again. So again, if you live in those low-lying areas close to those areas that are flood prone, keep an eye on your creeks and streams even through the overnight and tomorrow, because again, there is more rain in the forecast, and the in-house model not showing as much at this point. This runs through about 8:30 tomorrow night, but again, some places still could be getting close to 3/4 of an inch, possibly. Don't think it's going to be no 5 or 6 inch rainmaker, but again, some areas that are already seeing more than 2 inches could see 3 or 3.5 inches of rain by the system by the time it's all said and done. So we're watching that. Again, heavy rain potential increases through the evening hours. We'll continue to watch that overnight. Small creeks and streams could quickly rise. So again, if you're in those flood prone areas, just remember to keep an eye on that. 66 overnight. Heavy rain still possible. Some areas get a little cooler than that. 79 for your 78 actually for your Friday, 79 for your Saturday. Those chances for rain continue all the way into the weekend. Complete 7-day forecast for that weekend's always in view. Those rain chances don't go away. They do get more scattered toward the beginning of next week. Temperatures start to go back up, more of a pop-up type situation, but we got to get through the weekend first, and unfortunately it looks pretty soggy. But the good news is, for for the most part, unless the folks had already rescheduled their fireworks, Tanner, I think most folks got those off. I know here in Hazard they just finished before the rain started coming down, so it was close, but situation we're going to continue to monitor overnight because the possibility for flooding is still on the table.
All right, Brandon, thanks for all the hard work you and the rest of our weather anchors have put in today. Coming up next here on Night Watch, on a day where many of us celebrate our nation and its freedoms, the U.S. and other countries are pushing Egypt for new presidential elections. More after the break.